Welcome back, Bossy Posse. Today we're going to tackle what seems like an impossible task: organizing my digital files on my computer. So, school starts tomorrow, and I wanted to spend my last day of freedom doing something that would set me up for success for the rest of the school year. And if you don't know, I am not a student. I run a cultural center at a university, and I do a lot of programming, and so that requires me spending a lot of time at work. In fact, I do more than the average hours of a regular person. 9 to 5 does not exist in my life. I am working constantly, constantly. And my students, they have my cell phone number. They call me at all times of the hours. I try to set boundaries, but they don't really acknowledge those. They're like, boundaries, what are those? What are boundaries? They don't know. Okay. So my life is full of beautiful, wonderful young people, and I like it that way. I enjoy it. However, I do have a side hustle where I am the owner of a hosting company, an internet hosting company. I have an internet hosting membership community called Hello Ambi. And right now I've started working with our WordPress boss group. And so right now it's very important for me to be very organized. And so in trying to be organized, I have taken some time out today, which happens to be Martin Luther King's birthday. Shout out to Martin Luther King. Thank you, Mr. King. Thank you, Martin Luther King, for all that you did for our people. We are very grateful for all that you've done for our people. And so happy birthday, Dr. Martin Luther King. And so on this day, yeah, everybody says they try to make it a day of service. No, I don't believe that Martin Luther King Day should be a day of service. I think it should be a day off, just like any other holiday. Why, when it's a black man, we got to make it a day of service? I don't know. So I don't subscribe to that. I decided that today would be a day that I do what I want to do, like I would do on 4th of July or any other holiday, right? If this is Christmas, we're not sitting here like, oh, we got to serve people for St. Nick's Day. That ain't what we're doing for Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King would want me to do what I want to do on the day to celebrate his birthday, because we've come so far. We've come so far, and I just feel like Martin Luther King would want me to do what I want to do for myself. For myself. How would you celebrate your birthday? Right? That's what Martin Luther King would want you to do for your birthday. So for Martin Luther King's birthday, I am getting organized so that I can be a stellar employee for all of the students at the university. Okay, and so what I plan to do to get organized and declutter is work on that doggone inbox. Yes, I got to get on that. And then I really need to work on getting my files on my computer together. So I am decluttering my inbox and I am decluttering my personal computer. All of my digital files will be stored away and in order and categories, specifically in folders and subfolders that make sense so that I can come back and find what I need to find very quickly. So I just want to give you a rundown of what it is that I'm doing today, how that's going to work. So I've decided, I did a little research. I went on Pinterest and I found some information about decluttering my computer files, my digital files. So I've decided what that looks like for me is grouping similar items into categories and creating folders and subfolders. See, I got my little notebook here trying to get it together. And I'm going to naming conventions. That's what it's called. Naming conventions is really just what we naming this stuff, okay? What are the files called? What are the folders called? What are subfolders called? And provide some context without having to open and search every single file, right? And so I know that I need to be using dashes instead of spaces. That's a mistake that I've been making. And I know that all of the tips that I found on this site are going to help me be better organized in the long run, I'm going to have a much better life after this. Because let me tell you, every time I try to create something new, I get little notifications that pop up and it's like, hey, you're running out of space. I'm like, how am I running out of space? I don't even feel like I do that much. But if you think about it, we're downloading things every day. We're using up all this space by putting photos on our phones and on our computers. And so those movie files and all the videos that I'm making for YouTube, they take up a lot of space. And so even though I may not feel like I am creating a lot of content that is stored on my computer, I know I am. And so we're going to fix it today. We're going to fix it, Jesus. We're going to fix it. So my setup for my system will be folders and subfolders. I know that where I have the biggest problems at with files is in my Creative Cloud. Yes, my Creative Cloud is a mess. My desktop, not so bad, but it could be better. I know there are duplicates on my desktop that are in my document folder, so I need to make sure I don't have duplicates going on there. And sometimes when I can't find things, I resave it and put it in the wrong file. Yes, so I need to clear all that out. My pictures, I have an unbelievable amount of pictures, and I'm talking about family photos, I'm talking about branding photos, and more specifically, those stock images that I use for social media and for, my blog. And so I know I need to get those in order and get those somewhere. Movies. So I don't have a lot of movies stored and saved on my phone and my computer. I don't think I have any movies stored on my phone and computer actually, but movies, as far as like the ones that I'm creating for YouTube, definitely have those there. Music. I don't have a lot of music on my phone and computer. I think that whatever I use for my my I have music that I've used for videos that I've created, and I have stuff that I've used for like podcast intros, things like that, and YouTube intros. I definitely have music like that stored on my phone and on my computer. And then documents. So documents is just a hot mess. Everything gets downloaded into the downloads file or moved over into documents, and I don't really have any folders to kind of like keep that stuff organized. So I know that those are the key areas that I need to be focused on. All right. So how are we going to do this? The task seems to be really, really hard, but I broke it down. So I want everything to go into 3 spaces, okay? 3 places. So all my files will go into 3 of these spaces. So the first one is documents folder. I already have things in my documents folder, so I need to make sure I create folders that are subcategories in there and make sure that everything is in a folder. The cloud storage. So I want to make sure I'm using the cloud storage. I'm paying extra for Dropbox and I'm paying for some iCloud type things. I need to make sure I'm using the extra storage, the cloud storage that I am purchasing. I want to make sure I'm using that. And so I also use Google Docs, and we're going to be very specific with what we put in Google Docs now and what we're putting in our Dropbox so that we're not paying more than we need to pay on a monthly basis. And then last, I also have an external hard drive, which I really love, and I bought it for work, but I don't tend to use it. So I want to make sure I'm using that external hard drive. Maybe I can cut down on some of the cloud storage space that I'm using. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see, because I want to be very specific with what I'm putting on and where I'm putting it. So I've broken down what I need to store and file into 5 different categories, and then I do have some subcategories there. So my first category is personal files. So I want to put my personal files on in my documents folder, because I think that personal stuff should be on my hard drive and my computer. I do need to create a backup for that, but I want that on my personal computer and not just in the cloud. And I definitely don't want to put it on an external hard drive, because what if I lose it and it was personal information? Not good. And you think about how many things you have on like flash drives. Like, how many times have you lost that flash drive? You don't want to be keeping stuff in an external hard drive like that. I mean, a copy, sure, but not original files. So in my personal files, we'll have like financial documents, and this could include taxes, bills and invoices, And then also like student loans and my bank statements and my credit card information, things like that would go there. And then I also have warranties, different things that I've purchased. I want to make sure all of that is inside of my personal files and in the documents folder. I'll have my medical information, any auto insurance information, owner's manuals that I have for different things that I have around the house, and then a home inventory. I plan to create a home inventory so that if I ever have any problems and I need to file an insurance claim or something, I know what I actually have in my house. I haven't done that yet, so that's on the list of things to do. So all of those things will be going inside of the documents folder, and those are my personal files. Second, family photos. I don't have a lot of family photos, but the ones that I do have, I definitely want to store them somewhere, and I think that it would be good to put those through Lightroom because that's what it's created for, and I can work with all those funky different filters. It'll be really fun. And then I also keep like lots of information on those photos, like where and when I took them. It keeps all of that information stored. So Lightroom is going to be helping me with that, and any extra photos will be in photo and pictures, and so we'll just have to figure out that part out. I'm not really sure. If I keep them in Lightroom, does that also mean that they have to be stored somewhere else? I don't really know. I'm going to be figuring that out today. And then blogging. Oh, my third category. Third category is blogging and content management. So anything that I'm doing that's regarding my blog or content that I'm creating for my podcast, I want to make sure those things go into my Dropbox file. Right? So Dropbox has a way for you to keep that little icon on the top of your actual desktop, and I don't even know what I'll explain it in the box below what that actually is. So I'll be making sure that I can easily add things into a Dropbox folder from my desktop, from my computer, and without having to like log into Dropbox. That's what I was trying to say. I don't want to have to log in every time I want to save something. It's actually on my computer, and it shows as like a file underneath my computer. And so I'll be putting all of my photos that are content related for my blogs inside of there. And so these images might be stock images, they might be graphic designs that I've created, graphic artwork that I've made myself, downloads and PDFs, ebooks, other creative content, of course, and then audio content and podcast recordings. All of that stuff can go inside of my Dropbox. And then fourth is work related items. So I don't really want to be keeping all this work related stuff on my personal items. Not saying I'm leaving anytime soon, but I don't plan to be working for somebody else for the rest of my life. And if I want to, up and bounce from the university, I need to be able to just have all of that paperwork in one space and be like, oh, here you go. This is all your stuff back. I don't have it. I don't have a need for it. And if they're looking for me for something, they can just go to that little inbox and find it in there, or they can go to the Google Docs, okay? Because y'all not going to be contacting me, bothering me after I'm done with your university. That's it, okay? And so that would be stuff that's from all the university entities that I'm involved in and connected to. I also want to keep my sorority things inside of a way where my chapter members can access that, and so we are recently allowed to use some cloud storage, so I'll definitely be including those things in Dropbox. Video content. Okay, so I truly believe that the video content is what's really the culprit in my computer disaster. And so the reason why I feel like I'm not having enough space and storage on my computer, I think is because of the auto save that happens when you're trying to create files inside of Premiere and Filmora and all these other different places that I am creating video content. I think that's the culprit. So I would like to store anything that's an auto save and video related on an external hard drive. I've done this before when I was working with Final Cut Pro and I was working on a couple of web series. I would save things as I was working and operating to my external hard drive. Yeah, there's some things with that I need to make sure my hard drive is working and I don't have any problems with. So there's some risk there, but I actually think that it's better than saving all of those files on my computer. And I think it will relieve a lot of stress in my life to be able to not see little pop-up boxes telling me that I don't have any storage on my computer, because that's driving me insane. Okay, so that's what I have for you today. I am going to be spending quite a bit of time today working on cleaning out the inbox. Like I told you, you already know how to do that. I saved a video about how to clear your inbox. If you're interested in that, make sure you click the link above or below and check out that video tutorial. We're getting our life decluttered around here, right? We're making sure we are able to thrive in 2020 and not just survive. So we're setting ourselves up for success for the rest of the year. Okay, if you have any questions about how it went, how it goes, be sure to send me an email at amberly@helloamby.com. You can check out the website there. Make sure you hit the little subscribe button, and make sure you hit the bell for notifications, okay? Tell your mommies, your daddies, your aunties, your uncles to subscribe, and this is where they want to be, okay? Thank you for joining me in another episode of Build It Boldly with Hello Amby.